So he goes right to the mounting block. He does sidle up, and I have video on that in case you guys get confused. You tap him in his opposite hip, but if you just put the reins over his head, you just get up on the mounting block. Come here, Zorro. Take my left hand, pull him forward, and kiss. He'll come right over to you, right on top of you. Okay? So I want to show you that, but if he didn't come, I would take a stick or hold up my hand and tap. I don't know if the camera's... Tap him in that hip, the right hip, and then he'll come over to you. So if you hit him there by accident, he's gonna come next to you. You'll see he stands here. All right, and I'm gonna take him out alone so I want you guys to see in case your trainer has any questions. I'm trying this bit to see how he does. It's a Myler level 1 copper roller. I can send you a link. Short shank, 5-inch mouthpiece, 5-inch shank. So for the gaited horses, I always recommend, unless they're dead quiet and it's a good rider, but even if it's a good horse, if the rider's not as good, the shank bits usually help you to get their head down more. So you can see his head's below the horn. That's just fine. Keep your reins short enough so your hands are out in front of you and hold their head straight. I'm going to talk about walking horses to you guys. Walking horses tend to be wobbly, so if you're used to riding quarter horses and such, these guys will feel odd to people. Sorry, buddy. And it's just something you got to get used to. The stronger they get, because again, he's just been training for a month. So as he gets stronger, he won't feel as wobbly because he was kind of out of shape. So you want to guide with your hands and your legs. You don't want to ride these horses, although people want to, on loose floppy rein like this, especially if it's a wobbly one and you don't steer well, because your reaction time won't be good, and these horses will tend to space out if they're not overly sensitive, and then they get trippy and people think something's wrong with them. You just gotta ride them with some semi-collection, so not big loose floppy reins, unless you know the horse is okay with that. But this horse does better when he's on shorter rein in the beginning, then you can change it over time. You need the rein short enough. When you gait, you can half halt, so that's kind of like switching your gears. So if it starts to get a little bouncy, you're going to half halt. And if you're on a big long rein like this, you won't be able to half halt quick. See, he feels nothing. The horse will space out and see he's starting to look around. So you'll be thinking, oh, it's okay, he's doing fine. But it's best to be prepared. Keep your reins short. And this is how they gait the best, okay? And then you can steer them where you want to go. And it's good to practice keeping them straight, riding right in between your hands and your legs. So if you get to a section like where I took you and it was narrow, sprinklers are hitting us. Oh, we just got hit with a sprinkler. Camera got wet. Then you'll be able to steer much better. So if they're fast or bouncy, you half halt, squeeze, relax on the rein. If they're slowing down too much, keep a little leg on them when you do it, or lighten your half halt. He will stop from sitting back, take your leg off, breathe out. See, I didn't even get that far and he stops. Then I always say whoa and pull if they don't stop, okay? If you want to back up, you're going to pull, release, pull, release, pull, release. These horses, the walking horses, usually back up crooked, and they take longer to back up because they're kind of dragging their legs because their back legs are pretty long. Okay? So this is just his regular trail walk. It seems quite slow to me, but of course if you're with a very slow quarter horse or a horse with a very short stride, this might even be fast. Okay? Now I'm going to take him, there's mud on both sides, so I'm going to take him right in the middle of the mud and hold him straight. You just you learn how to leg yield, and then you use your leg yield to hold the horse straight. So if he goes left, I block him with my left leg. If he goes right, I block him with my right leg. Keep your reins short. I'm not pulling on him, but I don't have a big loop in the reins either. That scarecrow thing is coming up on the right, which is flapping in the wind. And today I didn't round pen him or anything. I want you to see what he's like now, okay? So he's looking with his right eye. I just pushed him a little bit because he slowed down. So he's not usually a spooky horse, but if you don't get him out or he's not working hard, he can get a little jumpy. So you just got to wear that energy off. I tell everybody they should round pen or lunge the horse for the first 6 months to a year until they're a better rider and the horse listens to them and we know what the horse is. That way they're less reactive. And although he's not bad, you know, he's not spooky at all now, but if he wasn't ridden or he wasn't out, he could be jumping. All horses can, but some people don't know that. So round pen or lunge him for the first year just to take the edge off, and it's to make sure the horse is paying attention and all of that. Okay. There's lots of flowers out here. So there he spooked a little bit, so I'm going to turn, let him see. It's okay. I can hear it. It's like the sprinklers on the plastic. So he's getting a little snorty because he's trying to figure out what's going on. But you saw that was nothing dangerous. You just keep him straight when he does that. Don't do a one rein stop or you'll start your horse spinning. If they spook in place, you just keep your hands wide, shorten up, sit back, face what the scary thing is. Okay, so now we're going to flat walk. So it's just a faster walk. We really didn't gate that much out here with you. We did some in the arena though. So you just squeeze with both legs and you think in your brain you just want a faster walk. And a regular horse, that would be like a working walk. And these horses, they're a little loose in the stifles, which some people don't know, but that's how they can swing those legs really underneath them and do overreach. So you got to keep them strong. So if you're just riding on the flat and not riding hills, make sure you lunge him over poles. He trots when he's loose, so have him trot over poles, let him trot. That's perfectly fine. Just don't do under saddle until you have the gates down well. And you can always call me and ask questions. But you want to make sure their stifles stay strong. So if they're not engaging themselves and using themselves and they're just walking slow, they can get weak, and then it feels like their back end is tripping, or it feels like their back end is giving out. So things like this, going upstairs, going up hills, that's great. You make them engage themselves, keep their head down, and you make them push so you feel them pushing from their back end. Engagement just means that the horse is using their back end underneath them, okay? But the more they engage themselves, the stronger their back gets, their abdomen, their stifles, their hindquarters. Lots of people get them and they just want to walk really slow because they're nervous in the beginning. When you walk really slow the whole time, these horses sometimes go to sleep on their feet. Then they start tripping, and then people think something's wrong with them. It's not. It's just that they're out to lunch, they're bored, they don't have to do anything, they start not paying attention. So you do got to make them pay attention, and every once in a while just walk a little faster, and then you can slow back down, okay? The slower they go, the more wobbly they are. So when you're going through something narrow like this, it's good to walk with a little bit of energy so they stay straight. Remember, these horses are different than all the other horses, except, you know, there's another gaited horse with a big overstride. Sometimes there is. So they will feel different, but you got to ride them a little different. Make them engage themselves, make them use themselves. With him, I always ride him with spurs and a stick. I ride him off my leg, but I always have that for backup so he listens, because he is on the lazier side, and he can also be stubborn, so he can test to see what you know. And if he finds out he doesn't have to do something, he will probably be like, well, I'm not doing that. He's a great horse if you make him use himself, and he can go slow or fast, but you got to make him know that you're in charge. Okay, we're out here all by ourselves. So you saw he left the barn just fine. Now, this horse is on the trotty side, so if you ride in deep sand like you're riding in the arena, if you go too fast, the worst he's going to do is go into a hard trot. You're trying not to do that. This is the confusing part about gaited horses, is their head set. So a lot of people want their head really low on a loose rein, or they want it really tucked in because it looks pretty like that. I like that look too, but it doesn't work so well in all these horses. So one's on the trotty side like this, his head set's fine here. As I go faster, I'm going to keep it there for his flat walk and his running walk. If I wanted him to rack, I'm going to bring his head up a little bit. When I want him to canter, I'm going to keep his head down. Okay? This is the reason why, if he stops sneezing. So when we bring his head down, he's going to round himself, engage himself. He'll be more a little bit towards the trot, but he does his flat walk and running walk just fine like that. And that's why we want to do that for the canter, bring his head down. So a trot's more similar to a canter versus a rack. If his head's up, he will rack. So if you're trying to get the canter and his head keeps going way up and he's inverting his back, he's not going to get the canter. You should come back to a walk and start again. But you can always get the canter with his head down, usually from his other gaits. When you're riding out on the trail, you try to pick the footing that's safe for you. So we're going to stay on the right. So I can see it. He sees out of the sides of his head. Keep your left leg on to block them wherever you don't want them to fall into. So there's crevice on the left. So keep your left leg there, block them so they don't wobble over that way. Now crevice on the right. So I'm pushing them off my right leg. Now I hold them straight with both legs right in between, and you look straight ahead. Do not look down. And don't look at your horse's head, because that changes their balance. Okay? Now remember, if it's real something you might think they might get their feet stuck in, don't go there too slow. Because some of these guys, the slower they go, then they start wobbling back and forth. Okay, so it's real deep here, so he's got to go a little slower. He's going to go his fastest on hard ground. So if you get addicted to speed, that's where he's going to go fast. Okay? So this is your regular trail walk. Now we're going to go faster. This is our flat walk. He's trying to rack. See his head come up above the horn, so don't do that. Now his head down. We're going to push him, make him engage himself, bring his head down. So his head goes way up. I apply pressure with both hands. If that doesn't work, like it just happened, he wasn't paying attention, I slid the bit across his tongue by squeezing with my left hand, releasing, squeezing with my right, squeezing with my left, squeezing with my right. He does know his canter leads. He's going to be better cantering on trail versus the arena, because they did not canter him much in the arena. And there it's better to practice like 3 steps, go back to a gait or a walk, get 3, and keep alternating that. So I'm going to gait up this. I want him to build up strength and endurance. Keep his head down, make him drive with his back end. With him right now, I'm pushing with one leg and then the other. Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. Keep his head down, make him drive with his back end. This is good for their stifles. Keep the head down, not up. Even though he's trotty, I'm just flat walking, so he's not going to fall into a trot right now. Good job. You can always stop and reward that. Good boy. You'll see he stops just fine. If you're going to ride alone, you have to be brave and you have to be in charge so you can direct the horse. Each horse is different. The older, the more you can depend on them. But if they haven't been ridden in a while, or they're younger, they need you to be the leader. So his head's a little high, so we want to bring it lower because its gaits are better. Lots of the horses can do racking gaits, but they invert their head and they're not using their backs as much, so we don't want to do that too often till he's stronger. So I just tapped him with my stick because he's just being lazy. There, his head went up, so I just held to bring it back down. Going downhill, you go slow. Something is blowing up over there. I don't know what that is. All right. So if I go to ask him to canter, I half halt on the rein, squeeze and relax, shift my weight away from the direction I want to go. So if I want the left lead, I'm going to switch my weight to the right and then dig with my right leg and ask him to canter. Here's a couple steps, now walk. See his head come up, bring it back down. Okay? So you want that head down when you're cantering. If his head comes up, he gets on the racky side, and he also can pace, and so you don't want him to do that. Now we're going downhill, so hold him straight. You will feel a little wobblier going downhill for a while. Now I'm going to go on the right side of the trail because it has better footing, so push him off your left leg. When you practice cantering, do it here and there. Try not to canter the same things all the time. Don't canter back towards home because it'll make you barn sour. Or if you do, it's got to be far away from home. If you're trying to make their gaits better and it's a walking horse and you're trying to get a flat walk and a running walk, you use your hills. It'll help you a lot. If you're trying to get a racking gait, then these steep hills usually are not helpful. You want to go down roads and slight inclines. So see where his head is now? That's better for him. You'll feel when it brings it up, you'll feel like you're on a totally different horse. Okay, so now we're going to get to the hill. It's okay, buddy. That's that popping noise. I don't know if they're shooting guns or what they're doing, but you saw I just spoke in place. And now I'm going to ask him for a canter, so half halt, shift your weight, leg, canter. He knows the word. He's not super fast, which is great for newbies. He has a nice, pleasant canter. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that big popping noise. So he's usually good with most things, bikes, dogs, hikers. You never know, something new will bother the horse because everybody's trails are different. So it's always good to be cautious first. If you have a trainer, I would say have the trainer ride the horse on the trail first. Take it through all the stuff, kind of like what I do for people, or you take the horse in the show first to make sure it's going to go good, and then you have the client ride the horse. That's always helpful. Then the trainer knows how the horse reacts to things too, because it's different telling people versus actually sitting on the horse and knowing what it feels like. So now we're in deep sand, so we're not going to go very fast. Just remember, any questions come up, you let me know. Canter. Yeah, I got his head up a little bit here. You see he's looking off to the left. Nice canter, but he got it up, so he got a little lateral. That's towards the pacey side, and a little racky. And so I didn't like it as much, but it was fine. But again, some newbies, they're nervous and they go too slow, and then the horses start getting trippy. And then they tell the vet, and the vet thinks something's wrong with them. It's actually the horse is falling asleep. So give them jobs to do, stop, circle, back up, things on the trail so the horse doesn't fall asleep. Okay, so we're going to make him walk up this one. So he can walk up the hills, you just lean forward, push with your legs so they keep engaging their hindquarters. Any blind tops like this or turns, you always go slow and pay attention in case something jumps out like a deer. See if we can get you go a little faster. So in his video where I showed the gates, you'd see a slow walk, then you're going to see a flat walk, then you're going to see a faster walk, which is the running walk, and he's not super fast at either. Both those gates, they are supposed to shake their head up and down, and you have to hold him straight and push him so he walks out. If you go faster than that, and his head is down a lot, he might foxtrot. So if it feels like you're trotting and it's a soft bounce in the saddle, that's just fine, but that's a foxtrot, just so you know. And if his head comes up like this, and you push him forward, and the gait feels short but smooth, you need to hear his feet. So pucka, pucka, pucka. That's a rack, okay? It's fun, it's smooth. It does amp horses up more, so if you're trying to keep them quiet, keep the head down. Okay, so you're going to get up here and turn around. When you go out and back with horses, it can make a lot of horses upset. I want you to see what can happen. So see, he just tripped a little there. He stubbed his foot, no big deal. Sometimes it's also the shoeing. Again, I'm going to turn around while I'm talking, so make sure their toes never get too long. Some horses are fine when they get to 6 weeks, and between 7 and 8 weeks, that's too long for some of them, and they get trippy. So any tripping, you be a detective. Any tripping with this horse, you call me up so I can help you. But right now he's fine. So that noise, he'll probably be over by the time we get back. It just made him shot forward a little bit. You just pull and relax. And breathe. Anytime you get nervous, open your mouth. It only works when you breathe through your mouth. Open your mouth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Always stay relaxed. Okay? Okay, going downhill, you're going to put the weight in your feet. You lighten your seat a little bit. You don't lean forward. You kind of try to stay upright and you stay slow. But you see, he didn't get upset going back because I tie him up when we get back. So he's like, where is everybody? Hello? That scares people. He's just calling out to see if there's any other horses. And you see, nobody called back. And he's not upset. Just so you know what that is. So It scares people, you breathe, relax, talk to your horse. It's okay, it's just us out here. There's no mountain lions. No, there's not. You're so big, they couldn't eat you anyhow. They would eat me. Oh, see? He's like, good. Good. I love when they moan like that, complain. It's funny. Here? Alright. Alright, so this one's pretty steep. If you get nervous going downhill, you can always walk, stop. Walk, stop. It's a good way to get the horse on its back end. So see, I'm walking. Now I'm going to stop. Oh, if they start going sideways, move forward again. So you don't want to go sideways off of anything. But he engages his back end pretty well going downhill. Whoa. But that's a good way to make the horse stay on its back end. Just to walk, stop down the hills. And if your horse runs down hills, that's another way. A lot of walking horses, if they have a big back end, you know, their legs are really long, big overstride, they'll go down those things sideways because it makes it easier for them. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It means they got a big overstride and they're trying to not step on their front feet. See, I told you he was going to get better with that popping noise. It sounds like they're blowing stuff or avalanches. So that's normal. If they are going down sideways, it's okay. I usually let them go sideways one direction for like 4 or 5 steps, then I turn them the other way because I want to build up both sides, and that can build up their side muscles on their hind quarter. Whoa. Well, he just stopped without me even pulling on him. Good job, buddy. So this is a great horse if he's worked. If it's winter time, he doesn't get out for 3 months, he's going to be spunky in the beginning. It's best to run him and then lunge him, then ride him, and repeat until he's calm again. But it doesn't usually take him very long if things are done correctly. Okay, so we're going uphill. Going to keep his head down, going to canter because we're heading towards home. So this is more towards his running walk speed. So their head's always going to shake if it's a running walk, a flat walk, or a foxtrot. His head's coming up. They're calmer with their head down, but you have to have contact to help them. If you just have loose floppy reins, they're going to look around and find things to spook at if they want to be spooky. So what else? It's good to take the horses out by themselves when the person rides well, not beginners. But it's good for trainers to take the horses out for people that are used to being alone, so that way if they ever have to separate, they don't have meltdowns. It also makes the horse trust in the person, so it builds that relationship, which is helpful. Okay. If the hills are too steep, you can, the serpentine I always talk about in the arena, that's what I'm going to do right now because it's helpful. So you serpentine down the hill, you go left, then you go to the right, and you go to the left, and then it helps you with steering and controlling their front end and their hindquarters. Once you get down, then you go straight. If you had a pacey horse, go very slow down those hills, stop at the bottom, then walk off or stop and back up, because if they pace down the hill and you don't stop and get them out of that footfall, they're going to pace right up the hill. Other information I tell people, ride in the arena. Well, when you get the horse, don't let them get out of shape, because some people do, they don't work hard enough. So it's great to do groundwork, but also start riding them. Ride them in the arena. Once you feel secure in the arena, go outside the arena. If it's an outdoor arena, just ride around the outside of it. Ride around the barn. Be aware of all the spooky things. Sit up, keep your hands wide, sit back. Start building trust with your horse. Once you can ride around the barn and your horse is happy with you and being good, then start riding. If you have a pasture, ride around the pasture. If you have a road, you can go up and down the road. Once you can do that, start going out on the trail. Go out with somebody calm who has a quiet horse, not a horse that's acting up or spooky or a spinner. Those are not the people to go out with when you are building your confidence up. You go out and you just walk and you do a short trail ride, maybe a half hour, maybe 15 minutes. Make it short, make it sweet. When you come back to the barn, tie your horse up or ride him in the arena. That way the horse understands when he gets back it's not a good thing. There's still more work, so that way they don't ever come home fast. Once you can do that, then you go out longer and you just keep adding more and more time. Do not add more people. Stay with one person. Because the more horses you add into the herd, lots of people think it makes the horse feel safer. No, it makes them feel safer. It creates a herd, and then they start reacting off of the other horses in the herd. So if there's any other bad horses in the herd, sometimes they start getting amped up, or they start getting kooky because they're just reacting to that horse. So you stay with one horse and you stay with the calm horse. Okay? Once you can do that well, then you add in a second calm horse. Until beginners and newbies, you follow. Stay in the middle if possible. If you have two people. If it's just one person, you go second. So 3 people, you go in the middle. That way the person in the front and the person in the back is helping you through situations. And you listen to them if they know what they're doing. Okay? If you have a gaited horse and you ride with non-gaited people, they will say things like this: your horse looks like it's lame. Something's wrong with that horse. He moves funny going down the hill. You sure something's not wrong with him? They'll say that over and over again because these horses move weird, especially from the back and especially when it's a walking horse. And you just say, okay, thanks so much. Yes, I have that check. He's a walking horse, and yes, that's the way they move. But thank you. Someday you'll see why they move like that. And when they see the horses moving fast, they start to understand. They look weird because it allows them to do their gaits. But I've had people tell me that over and over again, that their friends are constantly telling them their horses are lame. And I go, that's okay. Just when you get brave enough, ride off and ride faster than them. When they can't keep up, you go, that's why he looks funny, because he can do this. Okay, so now if I drop the reins, we're heading home. He's okay, but see how he starts looking around? So he's looking with his right eye, now he's looking with his left eye. So if a deer jumped out, it would probably end up right in those bushes because that's the way he's pointed. So it's best to keep their head straight, keep them paying attention to you. He's not looking at the trail, he's not looking where he's going. He's looking for danger. If he's looking for danger, you want to be like, no, we don't look for danger. Be calm. I gotcha. I got a stick. Well, mine comes out, I'll beat him with my stick. You know that won't work, but he doesn't. Okay. Alright, so he knows how to leg yield, which means I'll move off your leg sideways. And he knows how to move leg yield this way. He knows how to serpentine, which means to make like a little S pattern in the trail. It's good to do if your horse is barn sour, you're riding faster than the other horses, or your horse is having issues and it's going too fast, but you only do it where you have room. You would not do that on a single track or narrow area. Okay, now we're going into the narrow bit. So anytime there's a turn and then you go into a narrow bit, you slow way down before you get there. You prepare and you try to get in this straight, because that's what people don't do. They spin fast. Now see, he kind of just pulled on the bit and I go, no, I'm not going until I'm ready. So you get them ready and then you go through. Remember, you can stop them. You have to be trained well, but you stop them and you pretend sometimes that this is like a car, and if your car rolled off or just started taking off, you'd hit the brakes, but for some reason people don't do that with horses. And the car doesn't get to snatch grass or anything. Don't let your car go to gas stations and start taking gas out. So you don't let your horse eat grass either. You tell them, if you let them eat grass, you tell them specifically where they can eat, and you give them a code word like okay or something. This is the steep part. But you'll see I let lots of horses eat grass. They never snatch grass on me because I give them a specific place or I get off and let them eat. So, but if you're too lenient or you're riding like this, yeah, it's going to snatch grass. Why wouldn't it? I would too. It's like having me walk through a chocolate aisle. It's free. I'm going to get some. Okay, so now we're... They're like, where were you? She took me up a scary trail. Okay, so now we're going downhill. feet kind of out in front of you. Keep your weight back, breathe. Ignore the screaming horses. When it steps down a stair like this, you let their head go loose, but you sit back, kind of put your weight in your stirrups. You can half halt here, tell them to go slow and pay attention when you get to the step down. Push your hands forward, but keep your body back. Push your hands forward, keep your body back. Lots of people yank on their horses going down the stairs, and you're going to throw off their balance doing that. Anytime you go down a hill like this, we're heading towards home, they might start going fast. You can do that serpentine. Okay, you go out and back. Now, he's not any faster, which is great, but he was when he wasn't worked. This is exactly what I did. I tied him up when we got back. So he did good in this bit. I think somebody's not great with their hands. It's better to have a shorter shank. In the arena, you could ride him in a snaffle if you wanted to. But if you're having problems getting his head down, then stick with the shank until you figure it out. And then snaffles are harder if you're not good with your hands or know how to get the horse on the bed and bring its head down. Okay, and this is very mild. It's actually milder than a lot of snaffles are. The curb chain is adjusted so I can fit 3 fingers sideways between it. If a horse is pulling or going faster, you can always make that a little bit tighter. If you think it's bothering them, you can loosen it up, which takes you more towards the snaffle, or you can put duct tape around the chain to make it softer, or go to a leather curb chain. Okay. So there were lots of workers out there, but he's seen them. And then the scarecrow thing is right here on the right. Good boy. Good job. Let's see, now he's keeping the same speed. There's no rush to get home because home is not fun. Other things about some gaited horses and walking horses, their ligaments, tendon systems are a little bit looser. We just got sprinkled again. That's what allows them to be more flexible. So sometimes they stand with their legs crossed. Sometimes they stand parked out. Sometimes, let's see what we do. Thank you. Okay, come on. Have a good one. Sometimes they stand parked out. These are normal things for gaited horses. Does not mean they're lame or they have a back or a leg problem. They've been known to scratch their heads with people on them with their back legs. So they can twist and turn. Sometimes you'll walk up, they'll be in the cross tie and every single foot is facing a different direction. Normal horse, that would have 4 broken legs. Walking horse, that's just being a walking horse. So those things are normal. I'm trying to think of what other weird thing gaited horses do. Oh, sometimes when you're walking, because their ligaments are a little bit looser, you'll feel it give. You know, you feel like their leg's going to give out underneath them. It's just their leg, their ligaments just giving. Like if you were walking, all of a sudden your knee kind of wiggled around a little bit. That happens. Okay? So those are normal things, because I've had people telling me something's wrong with the horse, and I ride it and I go, nothing's wrong with it, and then they finally go, that's it, and I go, oh, that's just its ligaments. So sometimes they give a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take him down the road a little bit. You do not have to ride down the road, but I like to do it to expose them to stuff. I think there's a lawnmower down there. And this is good. They come back to the barn and they're like, are we staying at the barn? I was like, nah. Where else can we go? If you're riding alone, I always like to carry stick and spurs to back yourself up if the horse doesn't want to go. Some horses you can kick as hard as you want. They're still not going. There's goats up here on the left. I'll show you the goats. But sometimes their ligaments kind of give out a little bit. Okay? And so you'll feel the ligament give. And that's a normal thing, unless they're falling down. Falling down is different, but there's many reasons. Okay, so he's good with goats. You'll see them on the left. And we'll go see the chickens. We're leaving another horse. good with the lawnmower, but again, I'm on his back. You know, I'm confident, I'm a leader. So when going by scary stuff like that, you want to try to be confident and a leader. If you don't, the horse just goes, we're going to get out of here. I want to go down that road, so we're going to turn around in a minute. See, it's normal for a horse, if you're going out, not to want to go with you if you're scaring them. So if they think you have no idea what you're doing, or something bad happens, you won't know what to do, they don't want to go with you. I don't want to go with you either, okay? You want to go with someone confident, so you want to bring confidence for the horse. So think if you were going through the woods, would you want... So see, he's paying attention to the lawnmower. I'm sliding the bit and his attention back on me. Say you're going through the woods, right? And you go with the one person. Oh, that's great. We're going to have to pick that up. He's leaving a deposit. You're going through one person in the woods and they go, isn't this fun going out in the dark? Like it's exhilarating. And you go, aren't you scared? And they go, oh no, I go out do this all the time. And, you know, I'm not scared. There's nothing out here. There's no bears. There's no mountain lions or anything. Yeah, you might see a couple deer, but that's about it. It's super fun. Come on, let's keep going. And they take you out and you get back and you go, really? How many times have you done that? There's a dog to the right in the cage. And they go, I've never done that before. I was lying. And you're like, what? But I believed you. That's right. So you can do that with the horse too. You could have never done this before and you just lie. You're like, oh yeah, there's no goats. Oh, there's a goat. I lied. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So you give him little jobs to do, like I'm sliding the bit, keeping his attention on me. I just passed a goat. You see him on the way back. There's goats up here. And he's never been down this road in his entire life before. So now I'm going to let him look at these things so you see what he does when he looks. You can fake it. But if you don't fake it, they don't want to be with you. So if you breathe, stay relaxed, the horse will be like, I guess we're fine because she doesn't really care. Okay, let's go see these goats over here. So, but if you're going through someone in the woods and you're out there and you go, I'm kind of scared. Are you scared? And they go, oh my God, I'm petrified. This is so scary. What was that noise? Is that a bear? What's that? Oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God. And they get you really scared. And that's what people do to their horses. Let's go see the goats. Hi, guys. Sometimes the goats jump up, so we'll see what happens if that happens. So you want to go with the person who's confident, and that's who the horse wants to go with. The horse doesn't want to go with a scaredy cat. They want to go with someone who's going to protect them. They're like, I'll go with Gaye because something attacks us. She'll jump off and kill it for me. Hi. What are you guys doing? Don't you touch it. I see electric on that fence. Okay? Yeah. Hi, guys. So he's good with goats. I already knew that from the last time I had him. Good job. So I'm going to give him a little treat because that was really good. He went right up to it. The goats touched the electric fence. Right? He learned it's not on. So they might be loose tomorrow. Good boy. So that's the same thing it is with the horse. So stay confident. Be in the moment. Be there with them. The other thing that happens when the horses get nervous with the person is the person's not paying attention at all. They're off like this, they're on a loose rein. They're like, oh, look at that. Look at it there. Oh, what? Yeah, okay. And they're talking in front of not paying any attention. The horse is like, oh my God, this person's, there's the dog, pretty dog, is clueless. Hi, buddy, you miss me? Huh? And they don't want to be with them because they're not paying attention. They're like, that person don't pay attention at all. Something jumps out to kill us. Jesus, she'll still be talking to her friend. So that's when the horse spooks, spins, because it doesn't trust you. You can talk, but you got to be aware of what you're doing with your horse and all that. Okay, I got to clean up this poop. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to get back on. We're facing home. So you see the worst it can be. He walked off, pulled back. I stopped him so fast. He was like, whoa. Okay, now we're going to go back, and I could get off here, and but I want to ride around the barn too. But otherwise, it's good to get off and home. Now, see him backing up a little bit? I want you to see this. So he's doing that because of the guy mowing the lawn. but not bad. So what did I do? He went forward, I pushed him, and he went backwards, so I pushed him forward, pushed my hands forward, and then I blocked him with my legs. So if the horse goes to the right, you block him with your right leg. The horse goes to the left, you block him with your left leg. If you want to go forward, scary situation, you take both your legs and thump on that horse as hard as you can, because sometimes you only have one chance to do it. So make it be good. All right, next to lawnmower and somebody reading. Hi. A good testament to Zorro's brain, right? That was scary. You got goats on one side, a lawnmower, and somebody can weed. So this is an awesome horse, but with any horse, you have to get used to it. You have to build each other's confidence. You have to trust each other. You have to help each other. Okay? So, he's a great horse, but he's not an old 20-year-old horse, so he's young. And you have to learn the things to do to have them help you. And so you're always trying to show them, I'm a leader. I'm going to help you. I'm here for you. I'm going to make sure you're paying attention, all that. Now, a lot of times you come in the barn, what do they want to do? They want to go home. So it seems to pick up a little speed. That's okay. I don't mind. Because if they're fast, I'll just go in their stall and ride. It doesn't bother me. Or I might go in the arena. There's lots of things I can do. Now he slowed down because he's not, I heard what she said. I heard what she said she was going to do with me. This is a spooky area up here. So in this spooky area, you saw his head just came up. What did I do? I slid the bit. I got his head back down. I'm totally relaxed. I am looking around, but I'm not letting him look around. I was like, I got this. There's no need for you to look because I'm seeing where we're going. Okay. So it's good to ride your horse around the barn when you get back. Make them do extra things so they don't think this is where you just get off. If you got things to practice like your canter or gait, you go in the arena now after your trail ride and you practice it. Doesn't have to be long, 5-10 minutes is good. So I'm riding by the other horses and Zorro decided he wants to stop. So I go, okay. You know what, I wasn't going to side pass, but I guess I'll side pass. Yeah, let's side pass. Now he's trying not to do it, so you just switch the stick over. Make them do it. Okay. Good, so he used to be over in one of these stalls, that's why he probably stopped here. Now I'm going to side pass the other way. So, and you'll see I'm doing it a lot, aren't I? Now the horse behind us might reach out and bite us. That's okay too. So I want him to know, if you want to come over here, hey, I'm fine with you coming over here. You've got a choice. You want to go this way, or do you want to go this way? Make sure what you don't want is uncomfortable for the horse. So if he wants to stop again, he can stop again. I'll just side pass again. Yeah, I guess he doesn't want to stop there again. It's good to give the horse options. You just be like, you want to do this? This is what we do then. You want to do that? Then we get to walk around. So I said, you can walk this way. Go away from those horses. You don't have to side pass. But if you want to stay here, I'm fine with that too, because I love practicing the side pass. Okay? People go, it's that easy. It is when your timing's right, but you have to follow through. If he started having a hissy fit there and I can't follow through and get after him, then he's not going to learn his lesson. But if they start rearing or bucking or threatening you, it's okay. You just get off. And then you do it from the ground. You can side pass them from the ground. You can back them from the ground. You can take them in their stall and spin them around 20 times each direction from the ground. There's lots of things you can do, so don't give up. Do what you can safely do, but horses will test. It's in their nature. They're supposed to find out where they are in the herd. In my herd, they're on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to tie him up for a while. And this is the bit I had in him. So that was, he did pretty well in that.